Sausage Party, an R-rated animated movie that was released in 2016 to mixed reviews. On one hand, theatrical adult animated movies are extremely rare, so it was already eye-catching based on novelty alone. On the other hand, it's R-rated for a reason, as it featured food getting screwed and food getting screwed. Nearly 8 years have passed since the release of Sausage Party, and surprise, surprise, we got ourselves a sequel series. Now, there were whispers in the grapevine of a potential theatrical sequel, but we got Amazon footing the bill instead. The results?
Didn't just shoot a bunch of goo all over you? No, that's mayo.
Yeah, I was told not to watch episode 6. I should not have watched episode 6. I was warned about episode 6. I'm telling you all now, do not watch episode 6. But what about the series overall? The original movie, despite its crudeness, had a degree of social commentary in regards to religious dogma and how it can mislead the masses. Does that same level of commentary continue throughout the show? Well, the short answer is yes, but my God, is it stupid. There is such tonal whiplash, where we go from discussing the pitfalls of capitalistic society, where the mighty rule over the weak, and then we cut to a hot dog getting it on with a human in the most revolting way possible. It was so bad that I shouted in disgust and almost turned off the series on the spot. But damn my morbid curiosity, I had to see how this series would conclude, and yeah, it wasn't worth it.
I'll tell you what's not up for debate. F***ing hot you are. Will you f***ing cut it out?
But before we go any further, a quick shout out to this video sponsor, MeUndies. All of this magical voodoo underwear stuff sounds unnecessary. You're happy with your sausage and your package, so why change it? Who wrote this? Well, sure, you think that now, but when you're sitting in your third-floor apartment building with an AC that only cools off half the place, and your office is not one of them? Yeah, suddenly those underpants are important. In order to keep myself from feeling like a cooked sausage in my own space, I prefer to keep my link in a package of MeUndies underpants. With their camouflage ball caddy, they'll keep me from sweating on the shelf with moisture. I'm sorry, viewers, you have to put that thought in your mind. Keeping me feeling refrigerated and oh so fresh. Have you guys been feeling this weather recently? It's hot. So being able to tough it out in comfort is definitely a big brain move. Normal underwear stick to ya, all of that sweat and the wingbats. Who's gonna buy you now? The Dark Lord sends your unfresh ass to the trash. MeUndies are also responsibly sourced, with colors and styles that will complement anyone, no matter if you're storing a sausage or buns, or both. And with a problem-free philosophy, you can try these undies for yourself, and if you're not happy, then it's on MeUndies. So keep fresh this summer by going to MeUndies.com/Saberspark. to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. Then you can keep your buns and sausages fresh for the gods. Thanks again to MeUndies for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Now, for those who don't know, Sausage Party is a Seth Rogen production. He starred in it, wrote it, produced it, easily the biggest name attached to the film, especially since he gets top billing. Other big names include Edward Norton, Will Forte, Jonah Hill, and Michael Cera, to name a few. Kind of that typical casting you see in a lot of Seth Rogen movies. The film cost around $19 million to make, and made around $141 million at the box office, which is just insane. That's a pretty lean budget, all things considered, but I'm sure the animators were paid their fair wage, right? No, they were not. It was an incredibly embarrassing production with multiple accounts of mistreatment towards the animators and Nitrogen Studios. According to sources, the director of the movie, in particular the named Greg Tiernan, forced animators to work overtime without pay. and that if they threatened to quit or report about the harsh work conditions, that said animators would be blacklisted from the industry. Hell, this would be the case as many animators were not included in the credits of the film. Fortunately, the British Columbia Employment Branch was able to hold the creators of Sausage Party responsible, as they had to reimburse the overtime they owed to the artists who were robbed of their pay. All in all, a complete mess, and I can see why Seth Rogen was more vocal about Mutant Mayhem last year and making it abundantly clear that the animators were not overworked or underpaid. A big shout out to your publicist. Definitely, they did not want you to be caught in that situation again. So for those who don't know, the original movie is about a grocery store full of sentient food. They believe in something called the Great Beyond, not to be confused for the Great Beyond from The Land Before Time, though I guess both share the similarity of potentially getting eaten once you go out those doors. The food citizens are blissfully unaware of the truth, that humans are not benevolent gods to take them to heaven, but are actually terrifying giants who eat food. That humans can only see sentient food when they are on bath salts. Yeah, it's weird. And it's not just food. It includes boxes, like cereal boxes, toilet paper, and all kinds of things that are somewhat arbitrarily conscious, I suppose. At the end, the food citizens finally accept the reality of their existence and overthrow the humans and, as one does, have an orgy. So yeah, that's the movie more or less. Very crude, very graphic, lots of stereotypes, and a big helping of social commentary. Some see it as a religion bad kind of message, but I think it's more that radical fanaticism and blind faith can be bad, which, hey, that's true. I just don't think that most people want to hear Seth Rogen with his voice telling them that while he gets it on with a food orgy, but hey, that's comedy for you. It's subjective and not everybody's cup of tea. Just don't, bang the tea. Following the messy production of the original movie, I was surprised to see a sequel series in the works. Understandably, Nitrogen Studios would not return to work on the series, and instead it was handed off to a group of other studios, who I hope were paid what they were owed. We did see, however, the return of voice actors from the movie. Seth Rogen, Edward Norton, and Michael Cera. Michael be busy with voice animated series as of late from the looks of it. Scott Pilgrim, now this. Hey, we're almost close to a pattern. But that leads us to the main question of the video. Is the series any good? What's it about? How can it even work considering the conclusion of the movie? Yeah, they retconned this. The movie made it seem like they would go into some kind of meta direction with the animation. We're the results of animation, we're cartoons. But that was scrapped in favor of continuing the trajectory of the food citizens following the movie. That they now have overthrown the humans of the world somehow and are now the ruling species of Earth. Lots of logistical questions here that kind of ruin my immersion, but hey, even the series admits to how it doesn't make sense, but who cares? Now, I'm not a big fan of when a movie or show flat out tells me that I should not care about immersion. Like they say, you shouldn't care. Hey, that's for me to decide, For example, in Inside Out, I find myself questioning the way the world works. Are there little emotions inside the emotions? Do those emotions have emotions? Is there an infinite, layering of emotions within emotions? How deep does it run? However, the story and characters are fun and engaging, so I'm willing to accept the rules of the world and strap in for the ride. For Footopia, though, yeah, that's a harder pill to swallow. Yes, it's a silly comedy about talking food who have sex, and I shouldn't take it that seriously. But this jar of pickles, is the jar sentient? Or the pickles? Wait, is it a corpse inside the jar? How does that work? When does a hot dog become sentient? Is a fish sentient because it's food? Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the rules. It confuses me. Now, I'd be willing to set that aside, but the writing does not hold my attention well enough to be given that concession. Well, at least for me. Maybe I should explain the show, and y'all can see where I'm coming from and make your own decision over the matter. So the food revolution was a success, if you want to call it that. The humans have been cast down, and now food rules the world, even though we're only given the context of this very limited town, but I digress. The food then realize that they have to survive the world now. Avoid rain, avoid other elements. Animals can eat you. Oh no, we're falling into anarchy. We need order. We need a society. In the process, this orange character, who is new to the series, rises to the top and starts to use human teeth as a currency. Wait, teeth as a currency? And they call the humans humies? Folks, we're not looking at food. We're looking at orcs from Warhammer 40K. Long story short, the food find themselves in the same situation as humans when it comes to self-governing. Who is in control? The people? The rulers? The powerful over the weak? The proletariat? The bourgeoisie? Who? But yeah, it's the powerful. Just look at this little rice. She was completely downtrodden. And, spoilers? We'll never come back into the story again. Believe me. Spoilers. So yeah, she comes back into the story. She finds out that food can ratatouille humans. Their words, not mine. And also ratatouille other food? See that orange and its little entrance from behind? Yeah, guess where she's going. So the orange is controlled by the rice, and she rises to the top of society by manipulating the emotions of the food citizens and pitting them against opposition. Methinks the showrunners picked an orange for a reason in this regards. Frank and Brenda are trying to keep the system together, to have good faith and belief in the people, the food of Footopia. They even befriend a human. Befriend. They force him to eat other humans, is what they do. Brenda does not like the human, while Frank really likes the human, or, to put it lightly. Let's just leave it at that. Barry, the little hot dog from the first movie, is lost without a violent purpose. He found himself and found his stride during the revolution, but now longs for combat. That is why now he is a cop. We also have the bagel from the first movie. He's having PTSD after losing his lover during the revolution and then becomes a news anchor? Yeah, sure, okay, social commentary. By the way, I noticed that the taco girl was missing from the first movie. They make no attempt to tell us what happened to her. Go figure, I guess she wasn't important enough. But yeah, the story basically encapsulates the corruption of institutions who govern society. How morals and ethics are forfeited in favor of totalitarian power and the might of capitalism and money. And also making love to a hot dog. I don't hate this as a concept overall. The food got their wish of freedom only to find out that governing themselves is a bitch, which is kind of a cool idea. But a lot of the symbolism is pretty heavy-handed, almost as much as the food puns. My God, so many food puns. It's either degeneracy jokes, food puns, references to music, or social commentary. Those are your 4 main ingredients. And Seth Rogen, I guess. But around episode 4, of setting things up, I started to get bored, really bored. I don't care for the characters or any of their stakes or their arcs. I just don't care. I don't care for the stakes or the stakes. Frank and the human, I don't care about the relationship. Doesn't make any sense. Barry being a cop, I don't care. Brenda and her goodwill, I think it's just, the blind leading the blind. Who cares? The mystery behind the orange, which I figured out in episode 2, and the rice controlling him, I don't care. Also, the food people are just completely obnoxious, and I kind of hope that they all get destroyed. There's just nobody really to root for. When social commentary through anthropomorphic memes fail to engage me with the story or characters, it gets really grating really quick. Plus, the tone does not help either. So overall, the story falls flat to me. Admittedly, the ending kind of grabbed my attention, funny enough, where the democratic system fails and Frank uses the sheer might of the human to become the de facto ruler. But it also ends on a cliffhanger, with some drone flying above, so I guess there's more humans. We might get another season, or this is a first season cut in half and called quote-unquote 2 seasons, which is bullshit by the way. But I guess it remains to be seen. According to sources, the show did well on Amazon Prime, and you got Seth Rogen, so I think that's enough star power to develop another season if they want to, just from, networking alone. But I don't really care too much about how the story ends. I just don't, folks. I've seen better, I've seen worse. But hey, props to the animators. For a show, this series looks pretty damn on par with the quality of the movie, so hey, well done on that front. For the writing and everything else, well, I guess you could potentially win me in the second half, but it's not looking likely. For the record, I'm sure the humor is on brand for some folks who can appreciate it, and that's fine. The puns, the degeneracy, the satire, I can appreciate those things. It just doesn't really work here for me. I don't hate it, just not my cup of tea. But that's just my opinion as a critic. Doesn't mean I'm right, just my opinion. Different strokes for different folks. Or stroking hot dogs. So those are my overall thoughts about Foodtopia. I'm looking forward to Zootopia 2 more, to be honest. But what did you all think? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you all next time.